What is going on, guys? Tuesday, March 7th. That's right. We are in March already as I go out of focus. But see if we fix this real quick. We'll get to that. And for the rest of us besides Bryan, I believe this coming weekend we spring forward. So Bryan, remember next week the time's going to be different for you. But either way, we got some great topics to discuss tonight. Over the next hour, we're going to be discussing a little bit about some Star Wars. We have some other Marvel MCU news. And then we're also going to talk about Diamond distribution. But before we get into that, let's bring in the panelists. Sorry, I am high on allergy medicine. Got a little cough to the cold. I think I'm getting the black lung pop. But hey, from Beyond Wednesday's YouTube channel, make sure you guys are subscribed if you haven't already. We get Mr. Bryan McClay.
What's up, brother?
Bro, thanks. I need to be saved from that horrible intro. That was the worst ever.
I'm glad you're reminding me about daylight saving times. Otherwise, I would have had no clue, and I would have showed up an hour late. So.
Yeah, I've learned from experience with you. You're like, you guys like, yeah, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't have that here.
Yeah, man, it's a pain in the neck. It's funny that you bring that up because I thought for some reason last week was the week, and I put the show too early instead. So, anyways, daylight savings time. I hate it.
Yes, I heard there was rumor that they're supposed to be canceling it or something.
They should. It's not necessary. They had it because of working on the farm and you needed sunlight to work, and we don't need that anymore. Like
yeah.
get
Everyone remote working anyways. They can't get people back to work. What the hell?
Yeah, it's stupid.
But also, we have Mr. Rhynoverse, Mr. Ryan Hayslip. What's going on, bud?
What's going down? So excited to be back in the saddle again and see our man Bryan back from his jog into Tejas. How did Tejas treat you?
Yeah, I'm trying to go back, man. Flights are crazy expensive, but yeah, my younger brother had the birth of his first child, so I have a new niece in the family, and unexpectedly had to go travel for that. I say unexpectedly. It's like we knew it was coming, but you know how that stuff.
She didn't know she was pregnant. All of a sudden, she's like, "I'm having a baby."
Yeah, it was like induced 3 days before, but I don't want to give away too much.
Dang, you said what's that? Because that, yeah, okay. I'm excited about daylight savings. I don't know about you guys, but I love daylight savings time. To me, it's like a couple, 2-3 more hours that we have to possibly do things we enjoy. Me, I like to go surf when I get a chance, and this is my year to get back into my surf mode.
Yeah. I mean, and I enjoy it, especially. I'm not so much a big fan of the summer heat, but I do like doesn't get dark till closer to like 9.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
Yeah, we look like a bunch of Skittles on the screen, man. We got like red, green. But let's not forget the guy who's hosting us on his fantastic YouTube channel, Mr. ComicManAndy. If this is your first time watching this show and you're on this channel, make sure you guys click that subscribe button for ComicManAndy. He does a lot of great stuff, a lot of great content. Huge weekly recap of Last of Us, one of the biggest shows on TV. Make sure you guys check that out, as well as a bunch of other great comic book content. But let's bring him in here right now, Mr. Alberto Jefe himself, ComicManAndy.
What is good, y'all? I am happy to be back. Ryan, what are you surfing in Tejas? Cows?
Galveston and Surfside. Also, Matagorda.
Okay. I'm excited to be back. Tuesdays is one of my favorite nights to hang out with you guys and talk some of the latest topics and trends hitting comic books and pop culture and social media. And boy, we've got some doozies tonight. I tell you what.
Yeah, I do want to say real quick. I said flights are expensive. We were looking at flights again about making another trip in the near future. It's like cheaper to fly to Mexico and then drive up to El Paso than to like try to go from DC to El Paso.
No, I will advise you not to do that thing. A buddy of mine who I serve with a lot recently came up to me and said, "Yeah, we're going to take a trip to somewhere in Mexico." I was like, cool. And then a friend of mine was like, have you seen what's going on over there right now? You can go, but you may not return. Okay.
But yeah, people coming into the chat, thank you so much. Make sure you guys click that like button. And as I said before, if you haven't subscribed to ComicManAndy, please do so, as well as a bunch of other great YouTubers on this very, very show right now, Beyond Wednesdays. And then we got Rhynoverse himself, and make sure you check them out, not only on YouTube, but they got Instagram, they got social extravaganza.
Social medias and platforms and
yeah, not too long ago, YouTube had created a new feature that to be a part of the live chat, you have to be a subscriber of the channel. So that's one thing new you'll find on this channel, and is it's not asking much. You only have to be a subscriber for 1 minute or more to comment in the live chat. So that's an incentive. We're not asking a lot. Just hit subscribe so that you can be a part of the live chat. We're not asking for money. We're not asking for anything crazy. Just hit subscribe and hang out in the chat.
Yeah, always got a great conversation going in the chat. Sometimes it's better than what we're talking about here, to be honest. But what are we talking about here tonight? Guys, Mandalorian's back. A lot of people were first upset because the runtime wasn't very long for the episode 1. We've waited a while for season 3. We had the little crappy book of Boba Fett in between. But Mandalorian's here. And like any fandom, you got people bitching because they feel like Mandalorian has been ruined because Andor was so good that season 3, episode 1 had the worst writing. And I just don't get it. I think this goes along with everything we've talked about between Star Wars, MCU. I think this is the result of that oversaturation of content effect, because I enjoyed Mandalorian, the first episode. I thought it had a bunch of what I was looking for, and we get Last of Us in a galaxy far, far away. But yeah, people are complaining. They said the writing was horrible, and Andor set the bar so high. But I also think different strokes for different folks. So some people probably like Mandalorian more than they liked Andor because it's different parts of that Star Wars universe. But what say you? Because I know, especially you, Alberto, you're a great, much bigger Star Wars fan than me.
It's okay, but shake off the rust, buddy. Shake off the rust.
I know he's been a little bit rest.
1 week off.
It's the Sudafed talking.
We went quite a while. Maybe it's just because of a dip in on-screen content or being released with Star Wars between Andor and Mandalorian, or just everybody was focused on Andor when it was coming out. But it kind of seemed like the Star Wars fandom just kind of relaxed a little bit. Things weren't as bad as they have been in the years past. And now all of a sudden we stumble on this article this weekend, and all of a sudden that toxicity that kind of occasionally oozes out of the Star Wars fandom starts to crop up again. And now this is like comparing apples to oranges. Yes, it's Star Wars, different creative team, different writing, right? Question mark.
Yeah,
I should have
dug in comparing and looked at that. Blade Runner to the good and the bad and the ugly.
Yeah. I mean, two different styles, right? Like we're looking at Mandalorian, and that's a very different story that's being told there than Andor.
What about you, McClay?
I agree with everybody's kind of feelings on everything, to be honest. Like, I think that the Star Wars content has been lacking for a while. Writing has been lacking for a while. Other than Andor, it perfectly makes sense. Everybody's, anger. It's been really, really rough. Boba Fett was horrible. Absolutely horrible. Obi-Wan was there was really good parts, but some of the parts were so bad it ruined the whole thing, right? It was rough, man. It was rough. It doesn't. So bottom line, I understand their sentiment. What did I think of the first episode? I thought it was a normal first episode. You know what I mean?
I mean, we got Apollo Creed, and then we had Pirates of the Space Caribbean.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it, and it's funny because in that same article they talk about how in an interview Jon Favreau was saying, "Hey, for season 3, we want each episode to have like a water cooler moment that everyone's talking about. And I don't think this is what came to mind when he was saying that during that interview.
There was only 2 moments that were worth me like talking about to people. One, the Cara Dune stuff, talking about her and where she's at, which is good. That's probably your biggest water cooler moment. And then 2, the space whales.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah.
Yep.
Space
But
whales.
at least we know what the season's going to be about. He's going to go to the Catalina wine mixer and soak himself.
I can really appreciate what McClay is saying at the the beginning of the day, end of the day, whatever. I sat down, I turned it on. It's Star Wars content. I'm enjoying it. But McClay is right. Star Wars content has been lacking to a degree, and it seems like they really stepped up their game with Andor, and now it's the fandom's got. It's like comparing apples to oranges. They're 2 different stories, but McClay's not wrong, and a lot of the other people aren't. It's just how they're kind of conveying that message, and the Star Wars fandom tends to be more toxic, more so toxic than productive. In my opinion, there's a lot of us out there that are willing to have the conversation, just like McClay. We're just talking about it, but it always seems like the not great stuff hits the news.
Well, for those that do feel Star Wars is kind of oversaturated, we also know now that the Kevin Feige, Taika Waititi, and the best Star Wars executive and Kathleen Kennedy, their movies have been scrapped.
Good.
So,
wait, Jenkins?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Jenkins is
it's not my night.
Yeah.
Patty Jenkins.
Yeah, good. Patty Jenkins annoyed me with the kind of stuff that she's pulled in the last couple of years. Feige needs to worry about Marvel right now.
Yeah, well, Patty Jenkins thinks she's Spielberg after Wonder Woman.
Yeah, exactly. And Feige really needs to worry about Marvel. It hasn't been good.
Well, that's another thing. We just sat here last week talking about how there's rumor that Feige has his eye on not just MCU but all of Disney Entertainment, right, for the movie universes and including Pixar and everything else. And then they're going to scrap his Star Wars movie, which no one really knew much about. So it was like scrapping an idea. They pulled that thought bubble off the whiteboard.
Here's the stink nugget of this article, though, so to speak, is quote unquote, other Star Wars movies are still in the works, including the one directed and co-written by Thor: Love and Thunder's Taika Waititi. And I can never pronounce that, and I'll end up butchering it till the day I die, unfortunately. But after Thor: Love and Thunder, hasn't everybody pretty much been like, no, please don't. But
yeah, I don't know what they're gonna make. Maybe Chris holiday special. I mean, I don't see that one lasting either.
Well, it doesn't sound like we're going to get a Star Wars movie anytime soon. The rate this is going, and which adds to but that's speaking of Star Wars saturation. I mean, could you imagine if we did get a movie this Christmas, and if it wasn't to par, how things would turn out?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Cosmic One puts it great in the chat. I mean, I think you can't please everyone, so you're always going to have detractors. Someone talking about every piece of content that's out there. If you've done on our small scale of YouTube, you find that out really quick. But then on that big blockbuster stage, you find it out even more. So that's the thing where I think sometimes they get into a lot of trouble is when they try to please too many people too much, and then the content ends up suffering because of that very thought.
Right. This comment from Cosmic One reminds me that just recently, with last couple of days or last week, an article was released from the actor from Andor, Cassian Andor. The actor was talking about what he did in between the work of seasons 1 and season 2, and then confirms that season 2 will be the last season of Andor for sure. Just another 12 episodes, and that's it.
Yeah, and he was excited about that, right? I believe
he was. He said that the Star Wars content creation aspect, or the universe of Star Wars content creation, is quite strenuous, and
yeah,
he's
don't outstay your welcome.
yeah.
Right? I mean, you bring stuff along. Look at, I mean, The Walking Dead. That was one of those things. I think it just suffered from too many seasons, which they're about to have more spinoffs. But sometimes when they bring shows along, I mean, one of my favorite shows, Sons of Anarchy, I felt kind of, it was about a season or two too long, but it's good. I think Sopranos did it right, man. They went out on top. Game of Thrones, the original one, we don't even count the last 2 seasons.
So then what's Mandalorian gonna do? I mean, a couple of more seasons. I'm still in the bandwagon of Star Wars content where I can definitely appreciate what McClay's brought to the table, but in the same fashion, now's the time, like what they did with Mandalorian, all the fervor, all the excitement for that, do that again, but something else in the Star Wars universe that nobody's familiar with. Andor was cool, but we know the characters, we know parts of the story. Bring us something we don't know that we can get really excited about.
Like McClay's talked about, give us some more, give us some High Republic.
I don't know about that, man. I don't want High Republic.
No,
what I do want is Old Republic.
Yeah.
That's what I want. So,
yeah, that scene. My wife and I at that scene in Mandalorian with the space whales, we're like, yes. And then we started immediately talking about Rebels and some of the other stuff, and I was like, this is good. Her and I had a great 30-minute conversation just because of that scene. Definitely a water cooler moment.
I'm such a nerd.
You know it.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know, man. I feel so down and out about some of the content. It was so good for so long, and now it's just been so bad for so long. But I will say this: I don't think Ant-Man was as bad as everybody thinks it is. I think it's just easy to hate on it right now.
Yeah, I agree. I liked it. Ant-Man was a fun movie for me. I don't see where everyone's not liking that. I mean,
I still haven't seen it yet. I think I'll see Creed 3 before I see, and not that I'm like hating on Ant-Man. It's just I
think it's just
Creed.
Possibly. You know what I think it is, and I think Bryan kind of maybe or McClay kind of feels this way, but it's like the popular thing to bag on everything that's coming out because it's a popular.
Yeah, there's the social chameleons that just go with the flow.
And I think that it's almost like if you like it, then you're not cool. Like where it was cool, but now it's not cool because it's not cool to like it. It was cool. If you're liking it now, then you probably weren't there at the beginning, and you can't really understand how cool.
Yeah, that's like saying if it's not on newsprint, it's not modern comics. Some shit like that.
So yeah. I enjoyed it. I went in. I always try going with the open mind. It was very enjoyable. I thought it was a fun movie. Like it's a fun movie. I think I still am very, like to this day, I feel it's a privilege to be able to get these type of movies that I always wished I had as a kid. And now I get to see them like this and with the cool effects and how they can make things look realistic. I'm totally stoked on that. Until that goes and starts looking crappy, I'm gonna be stoked.
Yeah. Plus, I'll take any new original idea movie over a reboot that everyone likes to do. Although they were filming Jake Gyllenhaal at UFC for the new Roadhouse movie.
Really?
Can I ask you guys this? Is Ant-Man something you can
about that?
Wait, what? There's a new Roadhouse movie?
Yeah. Jake Gyllenhaal was at UFC this weekend, like filming weigh-ins and walkouts for the movie.
Which is
like
interesting.
A remake or a sequel? Or
it's a remake, I believe.
Oh, okay. Well, let me ask you guys this: is Ant-Man something I could bring my 6-7-year-old son to? I haven't looked into that yet.
I don't think there's a big problem. I don't there's not really any cussing or
super scary moments that I could think of.
That's why I don't jump out of the car to every new movie anymore. Is I've got a child to consider, and I want that child to be a part of my life every day. So I kind of give up some of those extra frills and extra fun things that I just go do with the wife or go do on my own, and got him to consider. So kind of bringing him along. That's still why I'm excited about Star Wars and some other stuff. But even a not so great movie is still a really cool experience to a 6-year-old.
Yeah, I end up going at around, like I do the late shows at 10:30, because everyone's in bed by that time, and then I can go sneak off and go do it.
Very cool. But speaking of Ant-Man and things that shrink, McClay.
Diamond. Some recent news from Diamond that is not so good. And when you really look into it, it's really not good. So I talked about this on Saturday night, but didn't really have the info that I needed to really kind of deep dive it. Basically, Diamond's planning to shrink their size by 60%, their warehouse size by 60%. And it sounds good. They're going to shrink their shipping fees by 40%, right? That sounds amazing. Last week, Bleeding Cool.
So the price is going to be on par with their shipping service.
Well, hold on here. You're going to be so mad when I explain this to you. So Diamond Distributors is going to offer a cut of 40% to the cost of their freight and shipping charges to comic book stores going forward. Now, you think this might be a great thing, right? But think if you're a comic book store and you've been working with Diamond for, I don't know, 10 years, we'll say 5 to 10 years, and you've been getting 1 or 2 stickers shipped in a huge box costing you $24 because everything is flat rate shipping with them, right? Or you're getting, this horrible comic shipped and just destroyed in these terrible boxes, and they're charging you a ridiculous amount. Well, think that if they said, we're gonna cut fees by 40%. 40% is a lot of money. Could you imagine the United States Post Office or USPS cutting fees by 40%? Not going to happen, right?
No.
Well, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? Well, if you really think about it, it means that they were overcharging you by 40%.
Yeah, it's like Kohl's, man.
Way to turn something fun into something dumb.
Well, in all seriousness, yeah, because
way too much for my Croft and Borrow.
They explain this by stating that they're opening up other deals or something with other shipping people, so they're able to, quote unquote, combine with other enterprises or something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing heavily. And it's like, wait a minute, that's not how it works. That's not how it works. Which it doesn't matter if you're shipping comic books or if you're shipping lingerie. That's not how it works.
Freight, size, and weight, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's what? $7 for a comic first class by whatever regions and stuff sometimes now.
Yeah, so it's got a lot of comic book stores who have been Diamond people for a long time really pissed off.
I can imagine, man. I mean, the Diamond's been around since what, 80?
A long time. And the Jeppies are very well respected within the industry. Even to the effect that a lot of people that don't like Diamond still have a ton of respect for the Jeppies, right? And they should, they are comic book fans to the core, and I understand that. But not only are they now kind of shrinking the size of their warehouse, let's be honest. If these other comic distribution companies figure out their shit, like Lunar, if they figure it out and people start realizing like, oh man, this is awesome, the Diamond's done. Diamond is kaput,
Yeah, it's pretty suspicious when they're talking about shrinking their size by 60%, and it's like the business didn't increase by 60%. Their labor force didn't increase by 60% in the last 2 or 3 years. So it's not like a COVID boom or a money being printed boom. So how do you even go to backwards explain that aspect? Were they just adding and adding and adding and adding without even accounting for those expenditures over the last 5 to 10 years? Is it because, hey, we're going to shrink our shipping fees because, one, we've been overcharging you and we've just been paying all these extra workforce or all these extra people that we don't need and we can streamline? Is this effectively them saying they're just streamlining and they've been overcharging? Question mark?
Exactly. It's exactly what they're saying. It's a bummer.
Yeah, man. I mean, just to see where those cost savings come from, but I mean, shrinking is going to give you some, and then I forget who. Three Rivers also said, maybe offsetting costs, passing it on a little bit, but Also, I think Diamond has to do something to remain competitive over some of these others. But
Yeah. Well, what Cosmic One brought up with the Funko stuff and the Hasbro warehouse sale and everything else, man, it's starting to be a big problem.
What if they get into a situation where they have to increase it back up? It's crazy that they're able to decrease with inflation being so high, and they're able to decrease it.
yeah.
I don't even know if it's necessarily an inflation thing or what, but it's like we were on the docket to talk about that Funko situation tonight, where they're trashing how many, what was it, millions of dollars of Funko Pops because they overproduced, and
Just like everyone has, and every company in the hobby community has.
Yeah.
We've talked about it with Hasbro, Magic the Gathering. We've talked about it with sports cards and wax. And because during COVID, especially with cards, we saw that boom on cards, man. And Target and Walmart they couldn't keep them on the shelves. And then they said that they were taking them off due to safety. But I think a lot of those vendors weren't able to provide those cards either at the time. And then they just ranked up the presses and just started overproducing stuff.
Yeah, it was just annoying at that point where they were either getting stolen if they were on the shelf. They were having to deal with complaining customers saying, "How come you never have anything?" It was a pain in the ass at that point. So
yeah, it's gotten
now
better.
You're getting the other side of that pendulum.
Yeah.
You guys hit the nail on the head. We've been talking about what companies will be facing over the next several years post-COVID and after all the money being printed, and now this is kind of the trimming of the fat and how they're delivering that news. Who's going to survive after this? And you hit the nail on the head also with they've got to compete now. Lunar, everything else, like there isn't that ability to kind of just sit back and steer the ship anymore. Now that ship's got to dodge a few icebergs, so to speak.
Well, look how expensive things are nowadays, right? I mean, Hasbro's having their warehouse sale, and you go on there, and it's supposed to be a warehouse sale, which in my mind means major slashes, major savings, right? And Marvel Legends figures are still $33.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is going on? I would never want to pay $33 for an action figure unless it was old. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here. Things are so expensive nowadays. It's ridiculous, man.
It's tough, sure.
And we're really going to start feeling it even more. I have a feeling in our collectibles world. I hate to say that.
Well, that makes me kind of wonder, why didn't Funko just open up the doors and sell things at cost? Keep the Funko fandom happy. They probably wouldn't have been able to move everything.
Get the write-off. They wouldn't get the write-off.
They were able to write that off?
That's why they're destroying it, because they're able to write it off if they destroy it like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's almost like getting a Marvel exclusive variant and say there's only 500 of them and destroying them.
Show me proof. Where's the video?
You got it. Again, another reason I'm so distrustful of so many things in so many places and people, and I've lost a lot of respect for a lot of people and places in the last couple of years, and it's been rough. It's going to be hard to win all that back. So,
it sounds like the real retailers are really beginning to get punished for. I'm trying to segue my way into the next bit of news here.
I will say this: I still buy Funkos for Funkos that I like. I still buy Disney Funkos. I like some of the exclusives, Masters of the Universe Funkos. So I don't buy them just for collectible. I buy them because it's basically cool, cheap ass statues. But,
yep. Wow.
Oh, you guys got me.
I think it's just a bummer because it's left such a sour taste in a lot of people's, craw that they don't want to come back. And there was a lot of new collectors.
Well, yeah, because everyone comes on stuff on the trail end of things. It's just like we talk about it with the top 10 list. that's not the time to buy shit when you're like, oh, you mean there's money in this? So then they just go buy a bunch of shit thinking that Superman, Death of Superman all over again. It's like catching on to the tail end and buying a bunch of shit, and then they're fucking making the shit out of them, and then it's like, oh, I'm not. I thought I was gonna get rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
It's definitely punishing out there.
Yeah, you know what's also punishing?
The
John
Punisher?
The John Bernthal news today that has been all over everybody's social medias and streams and everything. And I would love to sit down and do a live stream of just talking about this today on top of our show. But the reality of it is everybody's talking about it enough that it makes sense to talk about it here. I want to hear your guys' takes because this was something that everybody that's a Punisher fan kind of knew was going to happen and need to happen. And you can't let Bernthal slip through your fingers. You can't let this go unfinished. It seemed like it has to happen. And here we are. But it's also happening kind of just like how it happened in Netflix. They introduced the Punisher, John Bernthal as the Punisher via Daredevil season 2. And then he ended up getting his own season. And here we are. Bernthal returns as Punisher in Disney Plus's Daredevil Born Again, and they're filming starting next month, I believe, actually. But the important question here is, as we dive into this, there's actually 3 articles to pull some info from. How does Bernthal's Punisher fit into Disney Plus's MCU?
Well, Disney's
Just
doing
fine.
R-rated stuff.
Yeah, just fine. I don't think they need to change anything.
Deadpool's
stupid to change it.
Deadpool's going to be R. They're putting R-rated stuff even on Disney Plus now.
Yeah,
So,
man.
I'm glad Bernthal's back, but I was kind of upset that Deborah Ann Wall's not coming back.
She's not?
No. Her and I'm having a hell of a night. So the sidekick, the avocados.
Yeah, I know. What about Alias chick?
Kristen
Jessica
Ritter.
Jones.
There's been
Yeah.
rumors of her and Luke Cage supposed to come back too, but
she needs to come back. She
Yeah.
is perfect for the MCU, man.
Yeah. And I'd like for Luke Cage to come back.
Yeah.
Don't
He
care
was
too
good.
much for Danny Rand.
Well, we know he's not coming back. We know it's the backlash that they would catch if they brought him back would be ridiculous. So they're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Well, this kind of had that trickle effect where, oh god, it escapes me right now. You get the Charlie Cox, but first before that, Vincent D'Onofrio, then Charlie Cox, and now we get this little sprinkling of Bernthal coming back, and it's a little bit at a time, and it's finally shaping up to what people hoped it would shape up to be. Now, it's just getting delivered on Disney Plus, and like you guys said, you're not worried about this at all. My only concern is they did such an amazing job with some of the weapons handling and some of the aspects of Bernthal as Punisher. I just hope they get the right producers, they get the right coaches, and they get the right people to do the same thing again. I know I followed John Bernthal for a long time, watching him go through a lot of the firearms training that Keanu Reeves did for the John Wick series. And that stuff's really cool to watch on social media and watch them train up for these roles and hope that they do that the same justice they did in the past.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that Bernthal Punisher casting, it was too good for Disney to just not follow up with that.
I agree on that. Yeah, you're totally right.
He's probably the best Frank Castle I've seen. And I even like Thomas Jane as the Thomas Jane Punisher.
See, Three Rivers makes a good point here, worried about getting like a She-Hulk Punisher. You're not going to get that from Bernthal, but my only qualm would be they got to have the right advisors and the right producers on the show when they go to do it. Like, we're not, in my opinion, we're not going to get a whole lot of Bernthal in Daredevil Born Again.
No.
Not a lot. Probably maybe a hair more than what we saw in Daredevil season 2 on Netflix, but they're priming this to roll right into a Punisher series, in my opinion.
Yeah, just don't. Not that, I like her as an actress, but you can leave Rosario Dawson out of this too, because the night nurse thing wasn't working for me.
Rosario Dawson was what? How does that fit in? I don't know.
She was a night nurse. She was night nurse. Remember?
Oh,
I thought she was awesome.
The second I hear Rosario Dawson, I start thinking Ahsoka Tano, though.
Yeah. Well, she's busy. That's for sure.
You got that Ahsoka on the brain.
I do. That, I mean, we're just waiting for an actual drop that's going to happen next month at the Star Wars thing. They're going to hopefully drop the actual release day for that. See, I don't know. The guy that played Microchip, that's just a very, very, very different portrayal and different style than what Punisher fans got in the 80s and 90s as we were growing up and reading that. Microchip is a very, very different character in the comic book series, but I think he did a good job acting.
I would love to see some Jeremy Renner mixed in there. It's a little bit of Hawkeye, Salt Bay.
Dude. Yeah.
Oh,
Hopefully he's still on the mend and doing well.
Yeah, dude, it's not coming back to acting anytime soon, man.
That dude had a rough go at it. That thing had
that dude
got ran over by a
he almost died. Yeah.
I mean, he almost he came. I think didn't he lose a limb?
I tell you what, though, Mara Kingstown's badass. Love me some Mara Kingstown.
He needs to retire is what he needs to do.
He's got some new show coming on Disney Plus, like Renner Visions or Renner, and it looks like he's going to do like a renovation show. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's been filmed and produced already, but
okay.
It'll be interesting. What's your guys' prediction for seeing BERNTHAL on screen? Like, if Born Again, have they started filming? Question 1. Question 2, if they have, is there any sort of hint at a release date or a timeline?
I don't know.
That's on you, Andy. Like, that's
yeah. I was wondering if you guys have heard anything. If they haven't started filming, we're probably a year and a half or more, 2 years before. I mean, you gotta imagine a year of pre-production stuff.
Well, then they say it's gonna be like a year and a half of production. Like it's supposed to. That's like a while back. Charlie Cox was saying like, it's supposed to be. Yeah, it was like 18 months of production work, like filming. Like that's how big the season's gonna be.
Wow.
For Born Again.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Daredevil Born Again. I should have read a little bit deeper into this. Marvel Studios announced that their story will continue in Daredevil Born Again, a whopping, Jesus Christ, 18-episode TV series that'll premiere on Disney Plus spring of 2024. So, yeah, 18 months.
Yep.
Not bad. So a year from now.
It'll take 9 months to officially wrap the filming on November 15th. Kickoff filming. Get this, guys. Kickoff filming started yesterday.
Did it really?
Yeah. 18-episode Daredevil Born Again will kick off filming on March 6th in New York City. It'll take 9 months to officially wrap on November 15th.
Well, that's why they're dropping this right now. If they're kicking off filming at some point here in the next several weeks to a month, Bernthal's going to show up in a town somewhere near filming or show up on a street, and there's going to be some pictures and there's going to be some hints or stuff dropped. Hey, here he is. So they're just probably getting ahead of that happening. Oh, Jessica Jones turned down the role to appear, so they went with Punisher.
Wow.
Really?
That's surprising. That's very surprising. She must have had something else going on. Because I know she wants to play the character again.
I don't know. If that rumor is true, I would definitely want to find it and confirm it and look further into that. It just kind of seems like it almost seems a little too cookie cutter and pretty for Disney Plus to basically pull out of the Netflix playbook. Here's an introduction of Bernthal's Punisher in Daredevil. It's almost a little too pretty. So I wonder if that rumor really is a little less rumor and a little more info. I'm curious now. I'm really curious. Although, I mean, it's like definitely going to be looking for more cool Punisher covers. I mean, certainly I'm going to be looking for more Punisher covers that I don't have.
I haven't heard you try to talk about Punisher all that much in your polls and whatnot. So I'm excited to hear you start talking about some Punisher.
I'm waiting for them to finish that series if they haven't already, because I want to sit down. I don't really want to read that one month to month, to be honest with you. But what's really funny is this past weekend I scheduled and set up this upcoming Friday's blind CGC unboxing that happens to be all Punisher Volume 2 books. Made the thumbnail, did everything, posted it. And I was like, all right, I'm happy. I'm going to be able to dive into some of my Punisher collection stuff and see what these grades are coming back. And then the news lands today, and I'm like, huh, interesting.
Three Rivers brings up a good comment. Will they have the new or old Punisher logo?
Oh yeah.
I would imagine due to brand recognition and trademarking, they're probably going to go with the original.
Be pretty stupid not for them not to. Talk about backlash.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm excited. As Bryan and I dug in there, it's summer of 2024. We'll blink and then we'll be right there.
Yeah, because you'll have 17 Star Wars shows to watch between them.
Dude, we get it to this fall and Ahsoka drops. Ahsoka's going to carry us either right before or right after the holidays or something like that. Yeah. I mean, there's going to be a lot of great shows filling in the void while The Last of Us decides what it's going to do for season 2.
Bunch of great people joining in the chat. Mortal Biggie Shack, Double O. What's up, OG, Triple OG?
But speaking of comic book characters, what does that bring us to?
Uh-oh.
Tomorrow, new comic book day.
Yeah. I got nothing tomorrow. Sorry, guys. I've been busy at work. As you can tell, I've had a bad night.
You're struggling. We could tell, bro.
There's not much there for this week, to be honest. There's not a ton. For me, cover by wise, the main book is this. For
That
cover
Frizen?
by, yeah, the Frizen, Poison Ivy.
Did you
10.
guys see they're Marvel's re-releasing Predator, Alien? They're doing a new print line or print run of like 20th century something or other. And they're releasing those movie title books, re-releasing them in issue 1s and under a new print line.
There's a bunch of Star Wars.
If you look at Predator 1, I forgot to look at the cover, but I'm imagining it's going to have that 20th century or something on the cover. Maybe not. Somebody in the chat will know what I'm talking about. They're re-releasing these back at number 1's Aliens, Predator, and I think there was 1 or 2 other titles, and they're doing it under like a 20th century media something or other line. I want to look that up while you guys go over the covers.
It doesn't. It says here a pretty annoying relaunch given number 6 comes out in January. Although we're seeing this more and more as publishers are adopting a season 1, season 2 approach to the series.
Yeah, that all started with like Bendis type stuff. That's a cool cover.
Yeah, Paulo Sequeira, he's badass. That was the 1 in 25. Here's the Bartel 1 in 50. And Bjorn Barons. I don't know, man. Who knows with that stuff? I think it's ridiculous, the constant number changes. Scarlet Witch, number 3's coming out. It's got one of the Ross Mephisto covers. So,
ooh,
yeah. And then there's a 1 in 100 black and white for that. I like the Nakayama cover.
I don't like Ross black and white. It's not the same as like Jim Lee.
I agree. Because Ross paints. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He doesn't do a lot of drawing. He paints. So, his is just kind of like a roadmap.
Maybe can you go back to cover A? That variant actually to the left.
The Nakayama?
Yeah, look at that. See the left-hand corner, Marvel Studios? Maybe that's the new imprint that I was thinking of.
Yeah.
There was a news article about it that we almost put up last Tuesday or for this Tuesday or something, and then it hit the back burner. But they're releasing a lot of these under some new Marvel Studios or Marvel Cinematic thing.
Marvel Studios is the variant name, right? Because it's WandaVision. So that was done under Marvel Studios. Marvel Studios, I think, is the cinematic line, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I think you're getting out of the Marvel Studios stuff. There's probably some other ones in here that I know. This is the X-23. X-23 has a beautiful Rico variant. That's pretty badass.
Wow.
But they're doing new X-23 stuff. This
She's
is
growing up.
Woman's variant right there. Women's Day Month variant. There's a Momoko variant that is horrible. Jesus, that's bad.
Yeah.
Dude.
So last weekend, I think it was last weekend, or that I thought it was. It's not. It's Women's Week, Women's Month, or Women's.
Yeah.
So that's why Momoko's doing all those.
It's this week is not great. You get John Kent with the new energy powers, which is kind of cool. But to be honest, there's no good covers in the whole bunch. Maybe that one is a decent one, but I don't like any of them. Amazing Spider-Man number 21. It's got one of the Disney variants, the Hulk Disney variant. So for all you Disney 100
That's
people,
cool.
Yeah,
That's going to be a pretty cool run to put together.
There's the one in 25. And then there's this is interesting. This is a Betsy Cola Lexington Comic and Toy Convention variant. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
Huh.
Be on the lookout for that if you're around there. Here's the Nakayama silk variant.
Oh,
that's John 616, and I think they're partnered with.
Does a web come out of her fingers like that?
That's cool.
Oh, that looks good.
Ivan Tao. Here is.
I never knew that she got a web from her fingers. Whoa, there's. All right, now I got to get that.
Yeah. Lobos is amazing, man.
What is that? What is that on? Who is that? An exclusive?
Spider-Man 21.
But is it exclusive or
is it Hive? I don't know. I know Lobos works a lot with Hive. Is it a Hive drop? I don't think so.
I need to find out. Whoever knows where that's at, I needed one of those. Got to add it to the old Venom collection.
Yeah, that's the old LG. Was it? Let me Google that for you, Link.
616.
Oh, it's your voice. Bryan.
There you go.
And it's on sale.
We got a month thing coming up here pretty soon, huh?
$40 for
Patreon's Dunzo.
Dunzo, man. Talk to you, boys.
And there's Betty and Veronica, Friends Forever.
That thing is pretty sick, though. I'm not gonna lie. I like that one.
There's really not that much, man.
And I haven't seen a Venom cover I've liked in a while.
Star Wars. There are some Star Wars books coming out this week.
Yeah. Talking about saturating the market with Star Wars. There was 5 new Star Wars titles last week, and I think there's 3 this week. And Cosmic One dropped that info. Inferno Squad. There you go. First appearance of Inferno Squad. Coming out in Bounty Hunters. What, 32? Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Biggie Shack put in the chat. Buddy's 3 away from 1,000 subscribers, right?
Yep. Sans Group Collectibles been around for a long time. Really cool group of guys. I think they're now 2 subscribers away when I click that link.
What are they called?
Sans Group Collectibles.
I should already be subscribing to them.
Nope, the 1K. They're over it. They're at the 1K or above now.
Yay!
There you go. Very cool.
Yeah.
Still working for that 100.
Congratulations to Sans Group's Collectibles for the here we go. They are live right now. Let's see what they should be going crazy. Let's take a look.
Transformers.
This is so meta. You're watching YouTube inside of YouTube.
So it's funny you mentioned this and that McClay brings this up and does this. We used to do this years ago. If everybody remembers Perry Comics, now Perry Gaming on YouTube and Twitch and everything else. Perry, this was his late night show as he used to go around and just highlight content creators that were live or going live and hanging out. And it was really cool. I kind of miss that from Perry, actually. Yeah, please smash that like button. It does help out quite a bit. And once again, going forward on the channel, live streams will require subscription to the channel to participate in the live chat. It only takes 1 minute and subscribe. Just a good friendly reminder, not asking a whole lot, to subscribe to be a part of the live chats.
There's the Sansa. Man, the Momoko stuff is bad. It is bad.
That's Momoko.
Oh,
Is she just a watercolor
God,
artist?
it's just like my 3-year-old did that.
Jesus.
I've always said it looks like a kid that does this. Like they're straight out of elementary school.
It's rough, man.
Is that
Ugh.
Ahsoka?
No.
You couldn't
Oh.
tell. Oh,
Who's the cover artist on that one? Does it say?
That's Momoko.
That's Momoko too?
Yeah.
She's doing a cover for every Star Wars title right now this
Yeah.
month.
The Noto variant's not even that great. Yeah, man.
What'll happen is the print runs will be low or something, or people won't care, and they'll become hard to find in high grade, and something important might happen. And
Yeah.
I don't know. As a Star Wars fan, I'm still picking everything up.
Yeah, I'm out. X-Men 20 that
Andy,
has a couple of decent variants. It's got the Phoenix villains timeless
Ooh.
variant.
That looks
So,
good.
There's that.
I like it mostly because it reminds me of Firebird, and that was my favorite card growing up.
Surdy variant for Psylocke for MegaCon.
Kind of reminds me of like the trading cards out of the 90s for a bit there.
The Thiago de Silva Magique variant. But yeah, for the most part, it's a slow week, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at my tally for my pull list. I'm after discounts, I'm in that $45-$50 range, which is where my goal is to be no higher than that every week. Yeah, Lopez, you just missed the Bartel 1 in 50 for Predator. Actually, McClay covered that a little while ago. Know Your Station is out, number 4.
I thought you were telling Darth Lopez to know his station. I was like,
no,
brutal,
it's
bro.
another title. Holy cow!
Yeah,
they did Forrest though. That's one. It's like they always come around with some great covers, and then it's like, ooh, great cover, and then it's like Deja Thoris number 1, new volume 76. Like J. Scott Campbell did a bunch of covers a couple years ago, and
a lot of interesting. Here's the Yoon.
Why does that look like? What's the artist on that one?
Oh, Jesus. Damn. The Yoon variant?
Yeah. Oh, it's Yoon. Oh no, the other one. I'm sorry, not Yoon. Yeah. That almost looks like it's almost kind of like realistic-esque, like Frank Frazetta, but not in the Frank Frazetta style.
Frankfurt.
Yeah, man. I'm getting more and more turned away from titty books, even when they're covered. I'm like,
Harrison Maid's got the best comment.
Most of his pull is now
Independence.
Yeah. Moon Knight's got a Horley variant that's decent. And then Batman 133 has that Art Germ Joker cover.
That's a solid Joker cover.
You see any pictures from the Joker movie they're filming?
Yeah.
And then Spawn has a blank cover.
That's kind of a cool blank.
Yeah, with the blue line.
Big blank right there.
Has that ever even been done before on a comic?
Oh yeah, that was the very first blank that I remember was the Gen 13 box variant, and that's how it was. It was like this.
Sweet.
Yeah. So yeah, man, a lot of interesting stuff out there, but hopefully this week is will let your bank account kind of.
Yeah, you can save it and buy Funkos.
Last week was brutal, so.
There's if you're digging in there on the shelves, sorting around the shelves, you're sure to find some good reading though. Know Your Station was a fun concept. I'm wondering what issue 4 is going to be like. That one, forget the creative team on that. The idea was like a detectives, kind of like a Mulder and Scully kind of detective-esque murder situation on a space station out in outer space.
Pretty cool Infinite Crisis homage to Avengers there.
Plus, good thing whenever it's a slow week, you can always go get some trades books you wanted to pick up. Some good
I like the
Ed
video games.
Brubaker trades out there.
Oh, dude, you're not joking, man. I got something when we're done looking at these. It just came in. Ooh.
I don't like any of the Timeless Ross stuff.
I
think
don't
it's
like that
terrible.
No?
Yeah, I think it's bad. I think it looks great as a. If you look at the Alex Ross mural, look how beautiful it looks. Let's see if we can find a high. Let's go size large. Look how great it looks, man. It looks so good in high grade. Get out of
I
here.
think
That's
it's
way
smaller.
too small. Yeah. Let's see here. Is it maybe this DeviantArt? There we go. Look how beautiful that is. When they're all together, they should have made it all one book, but because they close up on them, right? You get really close up on them, and it looks terrible.
It's like a Monet.
Yeah, I mean, you get close up on them and they look terrible, but when you're far away, that looks beautiful. Look how gorgeous that is.
That's AI art.
I'm just not a fan of the close up, and it was meant to be looked at like a mural, you know.
Yeah.
Oh man, those Ross variants are 1 in 100s.
Yeah, the black and white are 1 in 100.
Oh, the black and white one. Gee, wow.
Yeah. So, oh man, they're rough. No, thank you. I will stay away. And I'd rather just have this cool, dude. If I could have this as my background behind me, that would be dope.
Yeah,
that would be cool. They need to make one of these. What were those called back in the day?
A big Hulk looks back there.
Big heads or whatever, or
fat heads.
Oh yeah,
fat head.
You can make it your own fat head.
Really?
We'll print that out for you. Yeah.
you can go
like
right to their
the,
website and upload something, can't you?
Can I upload myself?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to make it too big already. It's already kind of fat.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna make that, dude. I'm gonna make myself.
Oh, that would be epic. I have Ryan Adams. I look a lot better from a distance too. That's priceless. Sorry, Ryan. I hate covering you up whenever the comments come up, but when we try to switch
It's
over,
all
we
good.
end up landing
All
right in
good.
the middle of the art.
Yeah, it's all good.
Which then you do that, then it kind of
Yeah.
then you don't want to get rid of what McClay's shown. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's
Yeah,
interesting.
you can order this as a print, right, McClay?
I don't know.
That looks pretty bad. Or not there, but
I'm sure if you go to Alex Ross's site.
Oh boy.
Nightcrawler looks badass.
It's a good mural for sure.
Yeah. New comic book day, but
Mm-hmm.
that's just gonna leave us with
You know,
one more thing.
Dango.
What you got, Beardo Hefe?
Ooh, I'm excited. We are finding an ebb and a flow to the content that we like to do, and so far we've been pretty successful scheduling everything on the weekend and getting everything set up, and kind of people are understanding that clicking the notify button on the shows they like to watch is going to get them the notification they're looking for when we do go live, because the YouTube notification system is still broken. But that one more thing I have this week is scheduled for this Friday is the next blind CGC unboxing. I got 10 books coming back, all Punisher stuff from volume 2 that equates 50% of the last of the books that I have to get to complete that CGC registry. I'm really, really pumped and really excited, because the last time we did this, it was soul crushing and the grades weren't super great, even though the books were in phenomenal condition. But it also means we're doing we're busting out the community giveaway box. We're going to give away a graded comic book live in the chat. Live in the chat over there. We're going to give away a book at the end of that unboxing. And it's not going to be a Punisher book. We've got the community box loaded up with a bunch of other great slabs don't miss out. Hit the notification button. Go hit the thumbs up now. So when you see us go live Friday night, the unboxing is only going to be about 20 minutes. Then we'll spend 15-20 minutes giving away a book. It's what I want to continue doing every other Friday to give back to the community that comes and is a part of the content every day, every week when they come out. We're trying to do 2 giveaways per month for a total of 24 giveaways a year. And hopefully the CGC grading cyclone that it is continues on with that. And my hope is that we get a bunch of really high grades for this and we have a lot of fun, because I did not peak. So I'm really pumped and excited. And I'm hoping that we get some good energy in the chat to follow suit with the energy that I'm kind of feeling build up.
Nice. You worried about Slabgate hitting you?
Yes. Oh, you mean the fake slab gates?
No, I mean tough grading.
Oh God, the last Punisher unboxing we did like 3 weeks ago got to one of the books came back like an 8.5 or a 9.0, and the thing we sent it out was a sure 9.6. They actually damaged one of the books in handling. You know how when you grab a book, the back cover on the top had that slight bend when somebody accidentally pushes down too hard, that thumb or finger imprint. And that's why you click the box on CGC's website, is you agreeing to that when anything that happens, they can't be held liable or accountable, blah, 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 blah. And I'm soul crushed. My soul's kind of crushed because these volume 2 books for Punisher in the late 80s and early and mid 90s are getting incredibly hard to find in high enough grade to hit 9.8. And that's what we're trying to do, is get some of these back in 9.8. And I've got like 20 some odd.
What CGC needs to do in that situation is, if they accidentally damage any book, they need to just admit it, contact the person and go, hey, we damaged your book. We're going to give you, so much off in value and what we damage, and just be honest about it.
That's it right.
Yeah, make it right. Instead of saying, oh, you signed a box that said if we mess anything up, you can't do anything about it. We're not going to send our books to you anymore.
Here it is. We're here live. We've been scheduling everything every Sunday so that you guys can go click the notification, click a thumbs up. And I did not know the Punisher news was dropping when I made this, but I threw the CGC logo on John Bernthal's chest and said CGC Smash, because I am extremely worried that this unboxing is going to get the hammer from CGC. And these books are getting incredibly difficult to find in high grade. They're not commanding a high dollar by any means. But go ahead and hit the thumbs up, hit the notification, because this is going to be the stream that we do a live giveaway this Friday. So having lots of fun with that, with the community, because I know a lot of other people out there like watching CGC unboxings, and watching them live has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I've got news about tomorrow's show. I announced it on Saturday. The On the Radar guys, at least Trey and Marcus, will no longer be on the channel on Wednesdays. It's been an amicable split, and Trey and Marcus are going to be starting their own stuff on Rumble and iTunes. So make sure you guys continue to follow them over there. I talked to Vinny and Sean and Ferd, and as far as I know, they're going to be, still coming back for the show. So Vinny probably won't. Vinny, is so busy that he's even before the change. He kind of was like an every other week or every couple weeks he would take a week off. So anytime something big happens in the video game world, Vinny will definitely be there, and whenever he's able to, he'll show up. Same will be said with Sean and Ferd. So I just need ideas on a name for the new show. I'm not gonna continue to use On the Radar. I'm gonna let Trey and Marcus and the guys continue that. So if you guys can start thinking of naming ideas for that show, it's going to be the same exact show with just a little less NFT, I imagine. We're still going to be talking about all the different types of collectibles, comics, cards, action figures, and anything like that, and still be big market report, and basically the same exact show without the as much NFT stuff. So
I got a name for you. I'll tell you later.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's gonna be fun.
The no-name collectible show.
Yeah, there we go. I'll name this collectible. I'll name this podcast later. Darn, that's what I did.
Yeah.
So
My one more thing is I just want to bring a little musical inspiration to everyone to check out a band I recently came across. Everyone knows I'm a metal fan. I was looking for see if what's his name was in the chat. That usually
Are they on YouTube or
are they? They're on. They're on. Yeah, they're on. Yeah, I think they're on YouTube. They're called Trash Talk, but they're from India.
oh wow.
And their album that I'm talking about is called Bird, BURD. It's a very cool band, indie band from India, Bangladesh, I believe, something like that. And it's just a unique metal band. In fact, that just the style is very, it's not like anything else I've really heard. So it's hard to find stuff. I don't think he's like that. I don't think it's very hard to find bands that like don't sound like someone else. But these guys, I mean, there's still parts you can hear parts of other bands in there, but they're really cool. And there's actually a song is called Pijune, I think Pigune, which is a really cool song. So go check them out. Trash Talk. There's 2 Trash Talks. You'll find one that has it's like a hardcore band from New York, but these guys are from India, and the album cover looks like that. It's funny. It's a 4-song EP, and the EP is actually all of the lyrics are around birds. But I'll show you what the album cover looks like. See,
yeah, I'm looking for it for you, boss. But I keep getting the guys from California.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so this is what the album cover, and if you look up BURD, you'll check it out. And just the 4 songs is really cool. So, anywho, give it a spin and come back and tell us what you think.
Oh, there they are. That I'm gonna listen to it tonight before I go to bed.
It's pretty interesting. Yeah, SM. Mm-hmm. So cool music, and from India. It's not something you would expect from India.
Yeah, on something called website called Bandcamp. Actually, oh, they're on Spotify. Ryan Adams said.
Yeah, they're on Spotify and they're on iTunes. That's where I just saw it on iTunes. So this is the EP. So they're going to be putting out something here in the near future. But Pijun is really cool song.
My one more thing, I'll stick with the music. In case you guys didn't know, I had a YouTube channel called SimpleMan's Comics, and that name SimpleMan came from my all-time favorite song from my favorite band, Lynyrd Skynyrd. And just a couple days ago, the last original member of Lynyrd Skynyrd, Gary Rossington, passed away. That guy survived about everything. If you guys know the Skynyrd song, That Smell, that was from his car accident. The dude survived the plane crash that killed both the original members. So he passed away. It's sad news on that. On Up News, I asked if Darth Lopez was still in the chat. Congrats to Chelsea moving on to the quarterfinals. In the Champions League, they took out Dortmund today. So, yeah. And then one last thing. We didn't have it as a topic, but if you guys know Mark Guggenheim, he pretty much created the Arrowverse. I was fortunate enough to interview him on my channel. He feels a little slighted over the whole James Gunn issue going on right now because all he wanted was a meeting with them to discuss, Arrowverse and the new James Gunn DC universe, and they couldn't even get a meeting on the book. So I definitely feel for him. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet, especially for someone that's done so much in Hollywood and has written comics. And he was one of the writers that's on the Green Lantern series for HBO Max. But so that's like 16 more things. But other than that, definitely appreciate everyone in the chat. I was stumbling, rumbling, bumbling tonight.
Yeah, back in the saddle, man. You were missed last week.
Yeah, I took a week off. Again, congratulations to my brother on the birth of his daughter, my niece. But with that being said, guys, make sure you subscribe up. ComicManAndy, Beyond Wednesdays, Rhynoverse, and we will see you guys next week.
Excuse me while I change. The roller buggy has made me sweaty.